I've dedicated my life to running, training, and living a lifestyle that allows me to run as much as possible. I set the record for the most 100-mile trail race wins at 38 victories. I broke the record for the fastest time on the Appalachian Trail. I've sacrificed a lot in order to accomplish all of these things. My name is Karl Meltzer. They call me the Speedgoat. Along with all that hard work, I like to have fun. Challenge myself to take risks, try new things. That's what ultimately puts a smile on my face. So here we go, folks. Another version of what I consider to be fun. When I grew up, when I was young, I never sat in front of the TV. I never did anything sedentary. I never sat around. I would need to do something.
Hey, Karl, come out and play.
My dad was running every day with a neighbor. I just started following in his path. From him, I learned how to stay dedicated to enjoying life. It takes grit and determination to accomplish goals in this life, and those early years with my dad were really a critical part of developing my perspective and following my own path.
The relationship with my son, what more can you ask for? When you're growing up, you're having kids, well, how's this gonna go? Well, the only thing I can say is this has been phenomenal. Just phenomenal. I couldn't ask for more. I couldn't ask for more.
It was a wonderful time, you know, in my life. Living in the woods and running around the woods, go figure. Now I'm 49 years old and I'm still doing the same thing. When I was a kid, I think I thought that I would follow the normal path of everyone else. Graduate from high school, go to college, get a job, put a suit on. No. I just wanted to sort of have fun and get out and do things. So I worked a lot of hours over the winters, bartending at Snowbird Ski Resort. I saved as much as I could, then I ran as much as I could. Then I raced when I could afford it. I was good at saving money when I bartended, so during summer months I wouldn't have to live on the edge. Obviously we have to survive, so I worked enough to make it. I often went home after work and put my tips in a pile, instead of spending them at the bar. Nice, Karl. I was the bartender after all, so I drank for free. No one likes work unless it's something we do as a passion. Like myself being a pro runner, it pays the bills, but it does not feel like work. We slept in our truck and camped most of the time. Split hotel rooms. We were poor ultra runners. I may die tomorrow, so why work to take money to the grave? I think 1993, when a few friends of mine were driving home from the Pikes Peak Marathon, we saw a jackrabbit run across the road and I said, "Dude, check it out, it's a Speedgoat." My buddies laughed their ass off, and I just sort of bottled that name up in my head and kind of left it there.
I was entered at the Zane Grey 50 mile, and the race director that I knew was kind of a friend of mine through the channels of ultra running, and he put in, instead of putting Karl Meltzer, he put Wasatch Speedgoat, and I, again, laughed hysterically. I'm like, no way. And again, channeled that back in the back of my wired head here, and I just said, that's kind of cool. I think, that would be a cool name for a shoe.
One night I was bartending, and the Snowbird events director sat down, and we started chatting about putting on a race here at Snowbird. So he asked me, hey, do you think you can get 100 runners at the start line? I was like, absolutely. 6 months later, the Speedgoat 50K was born. 3, 2, go. I've always been a runner that likes tough technical terrain, whether it's super hilly, super rocky, or just really sharp, tough stuff to run on. And it's naturally a progression for me to put on a race on terrain that I train on. So I put on this race, Speedgoat 50K, and it's really a great event where I can watch my friends suffer.
Quads cramped.
What do you think of this course? You Kirsten Karl?
Fucking hateful. This is ridiculous. Awesome. Definitely sadistic.
It wasn't very common here in the United States at the time, so I wanted to sort of raise the bar and create something that people were really excited to finish. When you see people cross the line here, it's like, whoa. I mean, they did it. In spite of all this, I never really had a shoe that I was happy with. I pitched the idea for a Speedgoat shoe to my old sponsor at the time, and how great the name is alone. It is perfect for a tough trail shoe, and it fits me well. They shook their heads and said, good idea, Karl, but never acted on it. Afterwards, I ran the Zane Grey 50 in one of the first Hoka prototypes. So I tried them on, and they were, you know, big, funky-looking things. I got heckled by many, but once again, I didn't care what others thought. I only focus on what matters to me.
So as I grew older and I started to run longer races, I sort of understood that, you know, maybe I'm better at this longer stuff.
96, I ran Wasatch 100, and I finished, and then I was addicted. Then it was like, phew, I like doing this.
I wasn't thinking 100 miles when I was 10 years old. Probably wasn't thinking 10 miles, but at the same time, it was sort of just was what I felt more comfortable at.
Ready, set, go!
My other buddies also ran, so we would occasionally have a race around the block, which was exactly a mile. I'd win those every time, even against my older friends. I guess that inspired running to some degree, and I was good at it. What I do it for fun. When I do something, I like to do it right.
Over there. That should be roger that. On your way.
Unfortunately, a lot of times I do things the hard way, and I learn the hard way. But that's just how I do it. But then I find a way to perfect it and get it correct. I like the challenge of pushing myself to the limit, and I think there's very few people on Earth that like that kind of challenge.
Yeah, I always dreamed of having a shoe called the Speedgoat out there. I wasn't necessarily thinking it would happen.
After a while, I brought the suggestion of the Speedgoat shoe to Hoka.
I'm really psyched that Hoka accepted the idea and said, hell, let's do it. I hung up the phone and I had a big smile on my face. I'm like, yeah, finally.
They liked it. Now we have a badass trail shoe that can handle any terrain. After breaking the record for winning the most 100-mile races in 2007, I set my sights on the Appalachian Trail record. It was brutal. I failed twice, once in 2008 and again in 2014. I was down, definitely one of the lowest points of my career.
It was kind of torture for me to watch him go through, what he was going through after he'd accomplished so much already. For him to just say, I'm done.
The first 2 attempts, which he did not break the record and had issues. I know after the second time, he said, I'm not going back.
I'm sure it was painful for him. It was painful for me, everybody that was there.
I train alone. Have my own focus when I'm out on the trail. No one cheers to motivate me. I motivate myself and get things done when I want to. I learned the hard way with some things, and I'm fine with that. I'll take advice from others for sure, but always seem to go back to using my own instincts in most cases. In 2016, I set my sights on the Appalachian Trail record one more time. This time I had a plan I thought would work based on the learning from previous attempts.
This was the 3rd time that he had done it, and it involved determination on his part on how to get it done.
When Karl puts something in his mind, he's just got this drive that he's gonna do what he has to do. I guess even if it takes 3 attempts, he's gonna do it.
He wanted to have the right people with him. It is a part of it. The crew is important.
I learned the hard way, but I get it right after a few practice times, through trial runs. And my dad taught me that.
He took the time, he took the effort to go out and find those trailheads, write down those mileages.
I knew there was gonna be ups and downs, but he's just got this drive in him that he wants to win.
We had issues, but it just kept going, another day, another day.
I saw it in his eyes. From day one, I knew he was gonna do it.
We kept it going, and there were days when it went down low, but the next day bounced right back. When you break it down to a minimum of 47 miles a day, it's just phenomenal. It's hard to comprehend. It's hard to comprehend. It's just another level. It's his level that he aspired to go to and reached it.
To me, 100 miles is not that far. 2,200 miles is not that far to accept the challenge. Just like being a kid again, racing a mile around the block. We just didn't think it was all that far. For all the runners out there, I think you run your own race. And running your own race also means live your own life.
For me, when I race against myself. So today we're trying to set a really fast time. We're gonna run down this peak and then we're gonna run right back up and see if I can break my own personal record. It's important to do what you like to do, and you accept the challenges. I mean, you run an ultramarathon, you're going to have issues, and don't kid yourself. I've run 75 times at 100 miles, and I think only 3 or 4 of those races were perfect. So you have to accept challenges and deal with it, and smile when things go wrong. Now working at home in the coaching world, putting on the Speedgoat 50K, being a pro athlete really is priceless. I often ask myself, who gets to do this? I do because I want to. I encourage everyone to find that passion, that happy place, even when it gets tough and gnarly. That's really part of the fun. And when we have fun, it's really better than anything else in the world.